Boys, it's heating up in the Premier League. We got top teams are losing, bottom teams are winning. Like, it's getting real interesting at both the top of the table and the bottom table. We'll check that out tonight. This is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're tuning in. Thanks for listening. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from three friends who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal. With me tonight is Brad. He supports Chelsea Football Club, the club world champions. And down below is Sean. He supports Tottenham Hotspurs. He was the most melancholy fan in football, and now he is maybe the most boisterous, pompous, excited. I don't know. Sean, how would you describe your feelings right now?
No, this is Tottenham.
Is he a Twitter apologist? I think we need to put Twitter apologist in there.
No, you guys maybe don't pay attention because you don't watch these dumpster fires every day. So we get dump trucked by Southampton and Wolves, and then all of a sudden get up for City, and guess what's going to happen tomorrow at 2:30? Burnley are going to smack the shit out of us, and that's how Tottenham goes. No,
it's true. Yeah, this is Tottenham.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. The problem with being a Tottenham fan is that's what they do. You're like, oh no, the season's over, and then you're like, well, I got hope now. We just beat City. There's the hope that Burnley rips out of your chest like the Temple of Doom in Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting because one of our commenters this week picked Tottenham to finish in Europe. So we'll have to talk about that tonight. As always, what we're going to do for you guys tonight, we're going to hit up your comments. We're going to talk about that Tottenham comment from one of our commenters. We will recap what happened in the Premier League through match day 26, the wins, the losses, the draws. We will look at what has happened in the Champions League because we do still have 4 English teams competing in that tournament before we look forward to some makeup games in the Premier League and match day 27 at the weekend. But if you are new here, we do some shameless promotion at the beginning. We would really appreciate if you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, give us a follow if you're listening on a podcast or something like that. Leave us a comment, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts if you are listening there. All those things help us out tremendously. We're trying to grow this podcast and reach a new person every week and find a new friend to interact with. Dupe another person to listen into 3 buffoons talking about English football. But we would really appreciate if you could do those things for us. If you don't do those things, something might befall you. You might have some sort of inconvenience that, befalls you. Is that right, Sean?
Yeah. That what could happen to you is you are one of the people who have grown accustomed to watching seasons of shows all at once because now everything's released digitally, and you might also be aggrieved by the growing interest into take things back. People are noticing the trends of how well shows do when they do it week. Yeah, like Yellowstone, Game of Thrones. They're releasing them digitally still, just every week. And those have been really successful, and you don't want to be you don't be inconvenienced by having to wait a week to watch a show that you really want to watch.
I hate that. I'm a big proponent of full season releases and binging things. Netflix still releases some shows that way. Now they do still do some weekly releases on other shows. But that's annoying. But
annoying.
You know why they did that, right? It's because
it's getting more popular.
Well, it's so that like HBO or Disney can squeeze like 2 or 3 months of subscription out of you instead of just 1. So like if you wait for like if Disney releases all of Mandalorian at one time, Disney really popularized this with Mandalorian. This would really set it off. Is that they were releasing Mandalorian on a weekly basis, and all these other streaming platforms were like, oh man, we should start doing this too, because Netflix was historically just dropping seasons on you, and people would binge them. And so it's all Disney's fault, and now everyone's doing it, but so they can squeeze 2 or 3 months of sub out of you before you pause it to go elsewhere to watch other shows. It's annoying. I just won't watch shows until they're all fully released, and I will like avoid Twitter spoilers and internet spoilers as best I can.
Or and hear me out on this. Like, subscribe, and comment to the podcast, and you won't have to worry about that.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
With Disney.
That's what you got to do.
Every time you like, subscribe,
That's true.
Rate and review 5 stars, Disney gets taken down a notch.
It's true. And
unless they want to sponsor us, or
we get elevated. Oh yeah, true. Mr. Mouse.
Mr. Mouse, can we get the Disney Plus bundle?
Yeah, if you want to include us in the Disney Plus bundle.
Yeah, we can put it in their bundle.
We wouldn't mind exclusively releasing this podcast on Disney Plus. I mean, it's cool with us. Just, hit us up. info.redcardradio@gmail.com. I'm just saying. But yeah, so we really appreciate if you hit the subscribe button. Let's get into the comments. We have quite a few from...
Before we do that,
okay.
This is a little behind the scenes.
Sure.
Taking you behind the pod here for a second.
Ooh.
Sean doesn't. Yeah. Sean doesn't check the numbers. The other guys check numbers. I don't want to. I don't want to get up. I don't want to get down. I don't like to look at them.
It's true.
Did it when I was streaming. It would affect my mood on a daily basis. So I don't look at them. Does anybody actually check? We got a regular checker of the email, right?
Yes.
Brad should check it. I don't have it linked. I do everything with the Red Card Radio stuff in incognito tab, so it like doesn't affect like my other web browsers, like my own personal accounts and things like that. So like I never pull the email up.
Brad has it so it comes to his phone.
Perfect.
Okay. Brad has it right on the phone, so it's there every day. Don't you worry. All the YouTube comments come right to me.
There you go. Couple of idiots just trying to figure out how to work email. Don't worry.
I mean,
we are boomers.
So Brad gets the email.
One of us is.
Brad gets the YouTube comment emails, and he doesn't respond to any of them. I'm the only one that responds to YouTube comments, so. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you guys are trying to reach Sean on the YouTube comments, just know that he doesn't look at them. He never responds to them. So just take
hit him up on Twitter instead. Yeah.
Bring that beef to Twitter,
and he will have that beef on Twitter. He is all about that Twitter beef.
I was laying waste to people last week,
only to get egg on your face based on Spurs result. Anyway, so. Joel was in response to you, Brad. You were giving him a hard time about Joelinton, and his response to that is that his hate on Joelinton is as a striker, which is where Steve Bruce played him. How has transformed him into a ball-winning central midfielder, and he's been brilliant there. So he's asking you to apologize.
No,
I don't know. He didn't ask you to apologize. He's just bringing this up.
All right, but I didn't want to. Hey, about a funny Joel story. He told me this at church. He was wearing some of our RCR merchandise and wanted to give a shout out to the pizza place he went to. The Italian guy there. They started talking about what's Red Card Radio, and he just kept saying it to himself and saying it to himself. So if you're listening, we want some of your pizza. I'll get with Joel and we're gonna order pizza for Red Card Radio. Assuming that you're listening and have subscribed.
What's the spot?
He forgot the name of the spot when we were talking. It's his local spot. He says, my local spot. And
oh my God.
Charlotte has so many pizza places. But how can we find the name?
Brad, how can we plug the pizza place if we don't know what it is?
We're plugging Joel and him wearing the hat around town here. We'll get the pizza place name and we'll order some pizza and we'll have it here on the pod.
I'm going to be in Charlotte in a couple weeks.
If you're in the lower North Carolina region, and you're a fan of the podcast, you want some pizza, go to just any of them and ask if they've heard of Red Card Radio. In fact, go to a couple of them and see if they've heard of it. And let's see if we can find this place.
I'm gonna be in Charlotte in a couple weeks, Joel. Me, you, and Brad. Let's find that pizza place, and we'll all wear our hats and see what happens. So yeah, that's what Joel wanted to say about Joelinton, Brad. We're gonna hit up Jimmy. Now, Jimmy, you have had some inflammatory comments this week. First and foremost, you are claiming very erroneously that Thierry Henry is a cheater based on the handball non-call against Ireland in World Cup qualifying. First, I'm going to need an apology for that. So you can put that either at James Tiffany on Twitter, or you can hit us up in the YouTube comments and offer an apology to Thierry Henry. He is the king. and we don't accept any Thierry Henry slander here. Okay. Second,
Yeah.
you want Nottingham Forest and West Brom to come up. Nottingham Forest, okay. West Brom, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, what?
As what
No.
a former regular member of the podcast would say, it is football terrorism.
It's true.
Watching them play.
Yeah, no, there's no scenario where West Brom should come up.
Wait, I have one scenario.
Okay, I don't know if I'm gonna like this.
Big Sam is managing West Brom.
Bringing it back.
I want Big Sam back in the Prem.
Okay,
one more run
on
Big Sam.
If we one more again with Big Sam, roll it back with Big Sam. Okay, that's the singular scenario that I will accept. His other comment, one of his many other comments. I didn't choose to take all of your comments this week, Jimmy, just because there was a lot, and I appreciate all those comments. But so I was asking you about Spurs last week, about Liverpool, excuse me, about whether or not you thought that Liverpool could catch City. And your response here is, so Spurs gave Liverpool a lifeline in the league to catch up. Right now, the cards are in our hands, Liverpool's hand, to win the league if we win all our games in hand, and then it's a battle on goal difference. At a quick glance, Liverpool and City have a pretty close to identical strengths of schedule towards the end of this year. So Liverpool have technically already made up the 3-point deficit. Again, assuming Liverpool beats City when they play. It may come down to who gets eliminated from other cup comps or who can stay the most healthy. And in your opinion, you think that puts the slight edge into City's hand due to they have a slightly deeper squad. I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting. This Spurs result throws a wrench in the title race for sure. I don't think that both City and Liverpool will be faultless through the end of the season. Like, they're both going to drop points.
You know where it also throws a wrench?
What?
In the battle for 7th. That's where it throws the wrench too, baby.
We'll talk about the league table, but Spurs are not that far out of it, bro. I don't think Spurs are looking at a conference league finish this year.
I think this is one of our games, and we already played one of our games in hand. This is another one, and then the final one we had in hand is the Arsenal one, which I believe is next week, right?
No, they have not rescheduled the Arsenal Spurs game.
We pushed it because you guys know. Yeah, they pushed it. Wasn't it supposed to be like the 24th?
It's never been rescheduled, and a lot of Arsenal conspiracy theorists believe that the Premier League are holding on to that game in order to play it in late April or early May as like a 4th place decider or something stupid like that. Because if you look at the table, and we will look at the table here in a second, Arsenal are only 3 points up on Spurs, but they have equal number of games played. So that game could be hugely influential on the top 4 race or European positions, generally speaking. Brad, how do you feel about that? Do you think City have a slight edge over Liverpool?
I think he hit the nail on the head. His depth. It's going to come down to what injuries happen. Because injuries are going to happen. It's what took Chelsea out from making this a 3-horse race to a 2-horse race. It's what took us out. So that's what it's going to come down to. Okay, was Chelsea the 3rd weakest team? Probably. There, I said it.
I don't know if I agree with that either. I think Chelsea's biggest issue is that the £100 million striker you guys bought can't score goals. And the £100 million striker you guys bought was meant to replace the like £65 million striker that can't score goals either, can't stay on side either. So like I think that Chelsea's biggest issue is over the last couple transfer windows, they've bought a couple strikers that can't score goals, and they loaned out a striker to Roma, or they sold a striker to Roma who is scoring goals in Rome. I think your issue is you can't score goals.
We got that buyback clause for a reason, just in case Lukaku doesn't work out.
Just ain't gonna help you this year because it only activates in like 3 years or something like that.
2 years.
Hold on,
2023.
We're getting in the weeds.
Let's address our new Italian friends here at the pizza shop. Hey, listen, if you think that Italian gold merchant, $100 million, he could score goals over there and comes over here and can score goals. Now all of a sudden there was a striker here that couldn't score, so they sold him to Italy. Now all of a sudden he's scoring goals against guys who are electricians and IT directors, and now all of a sudden he can get bought back.
That's not true, actually. Actually, Tammy had a couple of really good seasons for Chelsea. Just not amazing seasons. He had double-digit goals in the Prem, so he was still scoring.
It was a great brace against Parma. I'm sure it was a great game.
I said in the Prem. I don't know if you heard. You didn't hear
Sean, you are disinvited from the pizza trip, bro. You are no longer allowed to participate in the fine Italian cuisine. Okay, so you are. Right. You get to stay at home. Okay, you're not coming for pizza. You do. That is a fair point, though. That scoring goals in Italy can't score in England. Can't score in England. Goes to Italy, score goals. What's the difference? Yeah, I think it's an interesting point.
I do think it is still in City's favor.
I tend to agree just because points on the board are better than games in hand. And even if Liverpool win their game in hand, it's 3 points. And so, of course, like Liverpool and City still play each other. So it's effectively no points if Liverpool win. But that's if Liverpool win. I think the game is in Anfield. I think we looked that up last week. So like that's going to be a tough game for City. But both of these teams have aspirations to win the Champions League. They both would like to win the FA Cup. So
hopefully
it's at the Etihad.
Oh, it's at the Etihad? Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully Tammy has a great game against Salernitana this week.
Salerno?
So in the Salernitana? No, there's a T-A-N-A.
Is it Italian Cup or is it Serie A?
Oh, no.
You don't know.
You know what? Let me tell you the state of Serie A. That I'm not naming a Serie A team, and we can't tell if they're Serie B or not.
Their next game is against Spezia.
Okay.
In
well,
Serie
they'll
A.
have a great game against them, I'm sure.
Yeah, they play Spezia. What do you?
And then you know what you're looking at.
Yeah,
I just typed in Serie A and scrolled down and found the funniest name I could.
Oh. Okay. Well, let's find that. Which day is that?
Sampdoria?
No, it was Salernitana.
Salernitana.
See, okay, all right. There's two people.
How am I pronouncing the name right?
I don't even. Anyway, we're not going to deal
Number
with
20. They're getting relegated. They're the Norwich of Serie A.
There's your brace, buddy.
Okay, I got it. Okay, all right. Anyway, so you pick City over Liverpool. Sean, do you have Liverpool or City? Who has the edge? City. I think we all agree. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. We're going to move to Will. So Will had a couple comments. His first one, he was giving us some Champions League predictions because Juve played today. And his comments were quite bold. He said, "Victory for Juve, of course. Juve have looked a lot better since Dusan has come in. Serbian names, man. And even Morata has looked good, despite the two recent disappointing draws. And I don't think that they'll steamroll Villarreal, but I expect victory." His follow-up comment, another disappointing draw.
Technically, that comment came in after Dusan scored. Not his fault because Dusan scored in like 30 seconds. But technically, this comment came in after Dusan scored. So I'm holding him accountable to that.
They drew today.
They did. I
know. And this comment came in like 3 minutes into kickoff.
Wow.
Dusan scored within the first minute of kickoff for Juventus.
31 seconds to be exact.
Yeah.
I missed it because I didn't have the game on in time. His second comment, we were talking about Conte a little bit last week, and he said, "I'm no tactical genius, but I never really thought the tactics were Conte's forte. I haven't really watched his team closely since 2014, so maybe he's improved in that regard, or maybe I never really appreciated what he was doing." I think everyone agrees generally with that sentiment. Conte is a man manager, He's an emotions manager, and he is going to get the team to fight and show that grinta that he has, to just leave it all out on the pitch and just always fight. And to your point about tactics manager, you guys were kind of having a conversation about tactics earlier before we started the podcast tonight. And I think that was your sentiment as well, is that Conte's not really a big tactical manager. Is that my understanding?
Well, I just disagreed slightly.
Okay.
I just wanted to draw the delineation between, I think what he's kind of alluding to is Conte's not gonna do a chess match tactically with Pep or Tuchel or some of the others in the world. Klopp, guys like that. He knows that, and he's not going to try to do that. But he does have a tactical system. He runs the 3-man back and has a counter-attacking system, passing forward from the back three, usually through the middle with the strongest passing center defensive men being the middle one, and moving forward with the counterattack through that and progressing the offense. So there is a tactical system involved that is stamped and printed by Conte because he takes it wherever he goes.
Yeah.
However, is he going to win a chess match with Tuchel? Probably not.
Well, see, my thought about this is managers. There's two types of managers in my opinion: systems managers and like managers that will adapt to who they are playing. So like if you look at someone like Klopp, or maybe I'm not going to speak on Klopp. So look at someone like Pep. You look at someone like Conte. They are system managers. They implement a system that they want to see their teams play, and they play it, and they don't change it regardless of who they're playing against. And then I think about a manager like Unai Emery. When Unai Emery came to Arsenal, Arsenal were a lot more fluid in the tactics they played week to week, and that they were more willing to adapt to the team that they were playing against. If you think about someone like Arsene Wenger never changed his tactics. Arsene Wenger played football one way. And he was like, my players are going to be better than yours, and my teams are going to be better than yours. You're going to have to adapt to me. So I think Conte is more of like a traditional older school manager in that regard. That he's like, my teams are just going to be so good at what we do that you're not going to be able to beat us. That's his vision. Whereas maybe a manager like Unai Emery is more willing to tinker with a system, tinker with his player positions in order to try and exploit the weaknesses of an opponent. But I also don't think Pep does that. I think Pep has a system, and he plays his system. I don't think Pep is really tinkering that greatly. He plays.
The only reason I included him is he puts a lot on the players, so it is a lot more in depth than just having a formation that you run with the same strategy every time. It's a lot more in depth than that.
His system is super complex. I'm not saying that it's not.
Yeah,
but
that's
all,
why I included him.
It's all positions, like positional play. Yeah. Like that's how Pep plays. Is like
Tuchel's very similar. If I'm right, if I'm correct on that, Tuchel's very similar.
They play very similar style football. Brad, you look like you disagreed with me.
I feel so. He's played that 4-3-3, but he's 100% switched up his tactics. In the past 2 years, he hasn't had a striker, and he's been kind of flowing everybody through that, trying to figure out where the positioning goes. Right, so there is a tactical difference in his formation. He's not playing the same 4 center backs every single game. He's not playing the same 3 midfielders every single game. He's not playing the same 3 attackers every single game. Sure, the structure and everything might be similar, but there's different player profiles in those roles, and those tactics change because those different players do different things.
Yeah,
right? Like Grealish isn't going to go score you 30 goals from the left side, but when you put Sterling in there, you expect a goal from the left side.
I don't know. I expect a goal from Grealish from the left side if Grealish is playing.
I expect Grealish to create chances. I don't expect he's not the goal scorer that you expect to spend 100 million on. He creates chances.
I don't think interchanging players is the point that you were getting at.
I don't know if it means what you intended to mean.
But within the same formation, Pep does do a better job of changing how they play with. Okay, well maybe this game we're going to need Kevin to push to drive the ball through the middle more and create that way, or in this game we may need Kevin to float wider and allow Mahrez to cut back in, and De Bruyne moving out creates that space for that because this team's susceptible to that. I think there's a lot more of that interchanging within his own tactical system, his own
philosophy.
His own philosophy. They're basically interchanging on the fly.
Yeah,
there's a lot more of that in depth, like you were saying.
Yeah, I think there's more fluidity in his structure and in his like positioning and those things. There's the structure and the formation is similar, but there's a lot more fluidity in Pep's and Tuchel's type of adjustments than what you would see in a Conte system or Jose Mourinho system. There isn't very many changes. It's we will take in the ball, we'll take in everything that you have to us, and then we're going to hit you on the counter. That pass over the top. That's why Fabregas was huge for Conte's Chelsea. That's why Dyer is very huge in Tottenham's Conte right now. Until he has somebody that can make those passes, it helps to unlock the teams that are pressing that high and keeping control of the ball.
It's an interesting conversation. And I don't know if any of the three of us have like the level of footballing tactic acumen to specifically or definitively speak on it. But I appreciate the conversation because I think it's an interesting one. But those were our comments for this week. We really appreciate them. Thank you for sending them in, and we love to talk about it. We spent half an hour talking about your comments on an hour-long podcast. Keep sending them because we love to have these conversations. So let's talk about what happened in the football matches last week. So we got a handful of games. We're gonna quickly pull up the Premier League table because that's what we like to do here. In kind of that's the wrong scene. Hold on, guys. There we go. Perfect. I always do that. Wrong shortcuts. But here we go. Here's the Premier League table as it stands today. So in first position, still Manchester City, even though they did lose that game against Spurs. They currently have a 6-point lead over second place Liverpool, but Liverpool do have that game in hand. In third position is still Chelsea. In fourth position, up to fourth position, is Manchester United on 46 points. West Ham drops to fifth. Arsenal are in sixth on 42 points, but they have 3 games in hand on both the United's Manchester and West Ham. Wolves are up to seventh. They have 2 games in hand over United and the Uniteds. And then Spurs are in 8th, also 3 games in hand over the Uniteds. So all 3 of those teams, Arsenal, Wolves, and Spurs, are certainly in the fight for Champions League positions. They're all very much alive. Big game on Thursday, Arsenal against Wolves, the rematch. In 9th, we've got Brighton and Hove. 10th is Southampton. Leicester are still in 11th. Villa are in 12th. Crystal Palace in 13th. Brentford are in 14th. In 15th are Leeds United. Everton are in 16th. Newcastle United in 17th. And in the relegation zone, Watford are up to 18th. They are on 18 points, actually. Burnley are in 19th on 17 points, and in 20th is Norwich City. They are on 17 points. So the Newcastle are in a safe position in 17th. They're on 22 points. So there's a 4-point gap between Watford and Newcastle United, a 5-point gap between Newcastle and Burnley, who are in 19th. Burnley have 2 games in hand on Newcastle. Yeah, that's what it is. Burnley can catch and surpass Newcastle if they win their games in hand. Of course, Watford can't because there's a 4-point gap and they play the same number of games. But yeah, that's where the relegation battle stands.
So when so Newcastle go on their run that I said they were going to do, and the Turf Moor Titans keep battling with their games in hand. Hey, a game, 4 games in the hand is worth more than 1 in the bush. You know what I'm saying? So. So they keep winning these things. They won this weekend. They're winning games in hand.
They got a very winnable game next game. So
they do have a very winnable game. It's called Tottenham coming off the Hope Grabber. So when they vacate this 18th, 19th, we got a barn burner.
Oh, yeah.
Between Leeds, Everton, and Watford, who do not want to go down, and Brentford's not out of the woods.
Well, I think it's going to come down to Burnley for the 18th position. Watford 4 points is a lot. Now, Watford did win. They did win their game, but Watford have been on a terrible run of form recently. But so let's just assume Burnley. What, Brad?
They're on their 3rd manager this year.
Yeah. That's the story of Watford. They're on their their 12th manager in the last 5 years or something. It's absurd. But so let's just assume that the Turf Moor Titans get 2 victories and they surpass Newcastle and they're on 23 points. That would put Newcastle Everton, Burnley, Leeds, and Brentford, all within 2 points of each other.
Dog fight.
Yeah, that's
Dog fight for 18.
Bro, that will get real spicy.
This is a good season. Like we got two teams running for the top, and we got like 6 teams running or 4 teams running for the bottom. Like this is going to be a good season. Second half.
Last year,
the battle for fourth is a shit show too.
Yeah, like all of like the break point positions are really interesting. Because like last year relegation was a dumpster fire. Like those teams were relegated like by Christmas. Essentially, they weren't mathematically, but it was not even close.
Oh yeah, it was bad.
Norwich, they look to be dead to me. I don't think Norwich are going to stay up. It seems very unlikely. But that 18th position is pretty interesting. And to your point, Sean, those European qualification points, 4th through 7th, are going to be volatile through the end of the season. And everyone's going to be avoiding 7th like the plague, in my opinion. I don't think anyone wants to finish 7th.
No, as the first time trial guinea pig person of it, I can tell you how I cared more about the Club World Cup than I did about whatever cup they called that thing.
Right,
I cared more about the Audi Cup than that.
Here's a question: do you care more about the UEFA Europa Conference League or the League Cup? That's the real question.
Oh, the League Cup for sure, like leaps and bounds.
Really? Okay, interesting.
Wow.
Yeah,
interesting. League Cup doesn't get you anything.
Yes, it does.
Conference League gets you into Europa League. I'm just saying. No, it's the FA Cup.
Cool.
So yeah. That's what that's what the league table looks like. So let's give you a rundown of the games that were played on Saturday. Kicking off match week 26, West Ham United were hosting Newcastle. That game ends in a 1-1 draw. Disappointing for both the teams that played in that game. Neither team wanted to draw the game. Both teams wanted to win. Arsenal hosting Brentford. Arsenal win 2-1. Villa hosting Watford. Watford win that game 1-0. It's a big 3 points for Watford. Brighton and Burnley in James's pick of the week was a barn burner, and Burnley gets the win. Loyal listeners, friends of the podcast, Radioheads, as Brad likes to call you, I have a confession. I did not watch James's pick of the week this week. I was at my son's soccer class, and it just didn't happen.
I think we did make history with this James's pick of the week.
Did we?
I think this was the most consecutive words in an alliteration that we have done on this podcast. Brighton and Burnley barn burner.
Ooh.
That's a 4-banger on the alliteration scale.
Look at me go. I am college educated and giving everyone.
I'm gonna have a sentence next week.
Oh, are you? A single sentence.
It's just going to be just all alliteration.
Peter picked a pack of pickled peppers.
James, you'll like this one. I just thought of it. You ready?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Let's go.
Bad. An alliteration is a couple of words that strung together that start with the same letter. Just so you can be in on the joke.
Technically, they have to be consonant sounds.
Consonants.
They can't be vowel sounds, because vowel sounds, that's a different phrase if you have alliterative vowels. I don't know what that phrase is called. So English people,
I can't think of it either.
Tell us in the, people who are English majors or degrees in language or something like that, or someone Google and tell us, but it's consonant sounds specifically for alliteration. But yes, so loyal listeners, I beg for your forgiveness. I would ask for another opportunity for new James's pick of the week next week, and give me another chance. I'm doing my best. I'm not doing my best, but I could do better, but it's the shtick. Palace hosting Chelsea. Late goal for Chelsea wins the game 1-0. Liverpool hosting Norwich. Liverpool win that game 3-1. Southampton hosting Everton. Southampton win that game 2-0. They are on a run of form. Southampton are. City hosting Spurs. The City of Manchester Stadium. Big game. Spurs get the victory. Spurs get the improbable victory. When we started the season, did anyone have Spurs doing the league double over City in their bingo card?
No.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, and they just crushed them. Going to
Sunday.
Sunday.
I haven't seen the full game yet. I don't know if you guys did. I watched the extended highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Extended highlights looked like City are going to do their thing. They're going to batter from time. Like you're going to have those 15, 20-minute spells where you're getting battered. And we did okay, but giving up two to City, honestly, it's almost like giving up one.
It's not bad.
You're probably not shutting out City.
Yeah.
But no, we were putting it on them. There was probably another 4 or 5 chances that could have gone in, but either goal. So
yeah,
it's just, you're not going to score that many.
I watched a good portion of the game, but I was like in and out, like kids doing kid stuff, and that was kind of my opinion as well. Like Spurs were in the game the whole time, in my opinion.
It never felt like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, it didn't feel like the inevitable City thing happening. Yeah. On Sunday, Leeds hosted Manchester United. Manchester United get that win 4-2, and then rounding out match week 26, Wolves hosting Leicester. Wolves get the victory 2-1 over Leicester. So those were the Premier League games that were played. So of course we've been talking about this Spurs City game that clearly has big implications, because I'll tell you, I was sitting down to watch this game. It's been a good 2 weeks of results for Arsenal in terms of Arsenal's battle for the top 4, and I was like, yeah, this is definitely a Spurs loss. Arsenal are going to have 6 points on Spurs, and even if somehow we miraculously lose the North London derby, we'll still have 3 points on Spurs. So I was like, all right, cool, perfect. And then Spurs mess around and beat City. It's just like what a result.
Like I said, I kind of alluded to it at the beginning. I just think this was more bad for City than it was good for Tottenham, because you chalk this up as a loss if you're Tottenham. You don't expect, especially not removing the fact that we had lost 2 straight against teams we should have beat.
Yeah.
But if you're even removing that fact, we've already beat them. We got 3 points out of 2 with them. I'd take that. I'd take a loss.
I think when you walk into away games against the top 6, you're like, if you're fighting for the title, you're like, I need to win this game. If you're not fighting for the title and your goal is Champions League qualification, you're saying, I want a draw out of this game.
Yeah.
I think that's your mentality going into these games. And if you're trying to avoid relegation, you're just like, please don't let me lose by 6. But I think, yeah.
I also think I'm guessing you didn't see it, James, but Tottenham were winning until a stoppage time when penalty. And Mahrez knocks it in.
Yeah, I know.
That's wow. That City almost saved a point, and then Harry Kane doing Harry Kane things. So
yeah, it's remarkable.
Yeah, that's huge. That goal from Harry Kane is huge because nobody's talking about the VAR penalty. I don't even know what it was for. Nobody's even talking about whether it was a good call, bad call, whatever. VAR was not brought up because of Harry Kane's magic.
And think about this.
In my history of VAR, nobody talking about it means they actually got it right.
So, Sean, last year Spurs were the kings of losing games in the last 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they would just throw games away. This is the second game in recent memory that Spurs have won a game, gotten all 3 points out of a game in stoppage time. Steven Bergwijn had those 2 goals in stoppage time against, I don't remember who.
It was against Leicester.
Against Leicester. Okay, yeah, against Leicester.
That broke Leicester because they have been on fire since.
Yeah, and then on fire in the bad way, dumpster fire.
Yeah, dumps in a dumpster way, not on fire in a good way.
Not like an NBA Jam. He's on fire kind of way. But yeah, and then this last minute winner against City. So this is a complete change for Tottenham. And we talked about it with Jimmy's comment, of course, about the implications on the title race, because Liverpool beat Norwich 3-1 at home, as expected. Norwich did take the lead in that game coming out of halftime. They went up 1-0, but Liverpool just turned the screws and got a win there. So now it's 6-point gap between Liverpool and City with a game in hand for Liverpool. So it could effectively be a 3-point gap. Everything's to play for at the top of the table. That's going to be a really, really interesting title battle between those two teams. what other results? I want to turn the attention to the Palace game, Brad, because that game was going on at the same time the Arsenal game was, and I wasn't paying enough attention to it. But then I look and it's like the 89th minute. I'm like, oh, it's still a draw. I'm like, that's going to be another great result for Arsenal. Chelsea dropping 2 points, and then to get the 89th minute winner. Did you get a chance to watch the game, or were you working?
I was working, but I got really, really excited to see it scored that winner for us. Huge. I mean, these games, you can look at them one of two ways. Oh, we barely beat Palace, or hey, we grinded out a win when we probably shouldn't have. And we've had a couple of those. I think we've won like 4 out of our last 5 games or 6 games has been 1-0s, 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 which is fine. Like, as long as it's a win, you don't need to score 20 goals every single game. So I'm 100% okay with that.
Yeah, I mean it's clearly a great 3 points because Crystal Palace has put up some games this year. They have now, while they lost both their games against Liverpool, I thought that they had ample opportunity to win those games. They beat Arsenal early in the season, so like they have gotten some scalps this year. And they've put up some really, really good performances. This Crystal Palace team, I don't think deserve to be in 13th in terms of the football that they've played. I think they've played really, really good football, but that's just kind of the way it goes sometimes. But
I think it was a huge game to solidify Chelsea as third. As long as we keep doing what we're supposed to be doing, like there isn't a conversation. It's a conversation for who gets fourth. It's not a conversation of can somebody surpass Chelsea, which might happen if we slip up again.
Well, no, because in theory, Arsenal could surpass Chelsea if Arsenal hold true to their form. So Arsenal have 2 games in hand on Chelsea. They win both their games. They'll be at 48 points. Chelsea are on 50 points. But Arsenal and Chelsea still play each other. So in theory, Arsenal could catch Chelsea. So
I don't know. I don't know if you saw John Terry's comments this week.
To remind people of that.
There's no such thing as London derbies because Chelsea's clear of everybody in London.
I don't care what this NFT peddler is saying on Twitter. Like, this dude is trying to stay relevant by selling monkey pictures on the internet. So
the greatest Premier League defender of all time.
Yeah, and he shouldn't be peddling NFTs. This dude should have some class.
I mean, make your money. Make your money.
Yeah, it's kind of like how you feel about retired football players peddling gambling websites. Like, that's just, you could do so much better. You could do so much better. But
make your money. NFT is the new hotness. Let him make his money.
I say that all. NFT people, if you want to sponsor us, info.redcardradio@gmail.com. I'm just saying.
We would love an NFT of Red Card Radio.
Actually, I would not. I'll be fully transparent. I would not. I think they're stupid. But send us some money. We're down. But so yeah, I think it was I agree with your take on you can look at it one of two ways, either like oh man, we barely beat Crystal Palace, or we ground out a victory. However you want to look at it, it's fine with me. I don't care. What happened to your boy Frank Lampard though, bro? I thought he was on the come up.
I don't know. I don't have answers yet. I haven't seen enough Everton football to figure out what's wrong there.
You know what what happened?
But you know what happened?
He ran into Ralph Hasenhüttl, who is on a tear right now. What are they, like, won 3 straight? Southampton?
Yep. He ran into 2 alums that he gave debuts to. That's what happened.
Southampton. Okay, no. They've win, draw, win are their last 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So 8 points out of their last possible 12 for Southampton. Okay, so you're saying he ran into 2 loanees or whatever? Stupid Chelsea.
Livermento was purchased by Southampton. There's a buyback clause, but Livermento right back and Broha up front. Bro's been on a tear.
It's true.
He's been an awesome striker for them. Like I want him back, and I want him playing a key role next year. I don't want another Tammy situation for him.
Bro, I think you will take literally anyone who can put the ball in the back of the net for Chelsea Football Club.
What do you mean? We got the silky German. I'm pointing that out because Joel and I were texting, and he was trying to say how trash Kai Havertz was until he scored that awesome goal, that well worked goal into the corner at the Champions League this afternoon.
Got to do it in the league though. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, what you mean Champions League? He did it in the biggest league, in the best league.
Okay, sure.
Here was my takeaway: is that we are careening way too fast into another Norwich Fulham swap. that I don't
Yes.
want to see again.
It's going to happen. We've accepted that. I think as a Red Card Radiohead unit, we need to accept that there will never be a Norwich versus Fulham match
In the Premier League?
in league play. Yeah, in Premier League
Oh,
or Championship.
No, I want to. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. I want to make sure the FA are aware of this. We need to reach out to our people at the FA. And
our people.
If this happens, that Fulham are promoted and Norwich are relegated, they just get removed from the ladder and they just play each other non-televised for the rest of eternity. So no one has to watch that.
Listen, I think what you're trying to say is this is the greatest rivalry to never happen.
Oh, I mean, we'll see.
It's despicable.
Yeah. Well, Norwich are clearly going down, and Fulham are clearly coming up this year, so it's clearly not going to happen next year.
Business plan, though.
Is it Brad's back on this? It's the business plan aspect.
100 million pounds every other year is a great business plan to line your pockets with.
I'm not sure that's how the parachute payments work, but
when you come up, so it's every other year.
Oh, okay, all right, got it. Well, it also there's some amount of parachute payments for when you go down as well.
Yeah, for relegation, you do get paid as well. So it's an awesome business plan. But let's get into this Champions League, shall we?
Yeah, we can. I was just gonna say that Arsenal got. It was a good win for Arsenal, and we almost had another clean sheet, which would have taken Aaron Ramsdale even, I think, with Ederson on clean sheets for the season. So don't sleep on your boy Aaron Ramsdale for the Golden Gloves this year. He is in the shout for Golden Gloves. I think he's like within one or two. So
considering he didn't start the year as your keeper, correct? He did like first couple of games.
First three games were Leno. Who I still think is a great goalkeeper. I almost feel bad that he is been ostracized in the way that he has, but Aaron Ramsdale's been playing really well, and I love Aaron Ramsdale. He's just not as good. Just not as good at it. So. I don't know if I'm willing to say that because Bernd Leno is really good. So I don't know. Brad, what does the Golden Glove situation look like?
Ederson at 14, Alisson at 12, Ramsdale at 11.
Okay, Ramsdale was right behind back.
Saw and Mendy tied for fourth at 9.
Yeah. But if you came into the season, would you have picked Aaron Ramsdale as being third in the Golden Glove conversation? There's no way.
Probably not, but I also wouldn't have picked Saw. So I don't know which one's the bigger surprise here. The Wolves goalie or Ramsdale. I mean, if Ramsdale's the starting keeper at Arsenal, there's a shot. Much bigger shot than Saw being at the top.
You clearly have not watched enough Arsenal over the last 10 years to think that Arsenal defenders are competent. But anyway,
present to you Granit Xhaka.
Well, I present to you Shadran Mustafi. I think all I have to say is Mustafi.
David Luiz.
The list is long for questionable Arsenal center backs. Not the case right now. Ben White's a beast. Ben White's been very good. He's got 11 clean sheets this season. Like you can't fault the guy. He's had some mistakes. I'm not going to say that he's not, but all of these stupid Twitter comps between Varane and Ben White and Romero, it's just dumb. It's just dumb.
You saw that too?
It's just dumb.
Koi's trying to pop off saying Romero is better than Ben White, which I don't disagree with.
I do, but I mean, look at give Romero a full run of form and take away the injuries and we'll see. But like, it's a stupid. I hate the Twitter comps. Let's talk about the Champions League. So last Wednesday, Inter hosting Liverpool, and if you are on Twitter at all, you will swear up and down that Inzaghi outcoached Liverpool, outcoached Klopp, even though Klopp won the game 2-0. Liverpool won that game 2-0, but apparently Inter just outclassed Liverpool in the tactics, and it was just lucky goals, whatever. Liverpool won that game. I watched it. I thought Liverpool won that game.
The funniest graphic I saw was a transposed actual graphic of, enter pool 2-0, and then over the 0 they put great tactical decision 82, great tactical decision 73. Like it put all three of their great tactical decisions, and then wrote 3 over top of the 0.
Yeah, so
it was great.
Yeah, Twitter's a special place.
Great. You made great tactical decisions. They don't result in goals, then you still lose the game.
Exactly.
Idiots.
Salzburg.
Just another Italian kerfuffle here.
This guy and his Italian hate. You're doubly disinvited to pizza. Salzburg hosting Bayern Munich. That game ends in a 1-1 draw. And then we fast forward to this week. So the games that were played today, we had Villarreal hosting Juventus. That game ended in a 1-1 draw. And Chelsea hosting Lille. Chelsea win that game 2-0. Those games are the return legs of those games are going to be in about 3 weeks. Inter Liverpool's probably in like 2 weeks or something like that. So we have 2 games tomorrow. We've got Manchester United are away to Atletico Madrid, and then Benfica are hosting Ajax. That's all tomorrow, and that will round out the first match group of first legs of the round of 16 ties. Yes,
Great,
Brad. Yes, Brad. We're waiting for you. We're waiting for
great goal by Pulisic today.
Pulisic had a great game.
Worldie.
Not even like the goal was amazing. I wouldn't necessarily say it was a worldie, but it was an amazing game. His touch was awesome to get into the bottom corner. I don't think it's a worldie. I don't think it's a
his touch was
goal.
awesome to get past the goal. To get past the defender. It was a great first touch in general, and then the touch to put it over the keeper into the bottom corner. It was good.
Yeah, but play. I don't compare that to like Giroud's goal last year. That's what I consider a worldie.
It
was a great goal.
Let me tell you, it was a great goal. Let me tell you who's not scoring it. Anyone currently on Chelsea that plays striker that you've been talking about: Werner, Havertz, Ziyech, Lukaku.
I disagree.
There's only
Ziyech is definitely
one player on Chelsea that is scoring that goal.
There's 2. Ziyech is putting that goal away too. Ziyech has that type of touch. I mean, it would have been on his left foot instead of his right foot, but Ziyech has that type of touch too.
But he's not coming. I don't think he's got the pace to put the ball past the defender like Pulisic does.
Right, the dribbling technique. Yeah, yeah.
I agree. I thought it was a great goal. Whether or not it's world class, whatever. That's up for the Twitter.
Goal was another great goal.
The Twitter comps, but
not the sitter he missed 2 minutes into the game, but his header goal was a great goal as well.
His header was, yeah. It's
what it's supposed to be. It's a header.
Yeah, it's a header.
But yeah, I had Pulisic as my man of the match. If it wasn't for old as Thiago Silva having the game of his life, his 94th Champions League game, intercepting the ball 12 times against Lille. That man is an ageless wonder.
What was the question I was going to ask? Is that who they picked with Thiago Silva for the?
Well, I think
man of the match.
I think they picked Conte.
Oh, that's right. I did see that on Twitter.
Conte, but it should have been Thiago. Thiago Silva had a great game, cleaning up all sorts of messes.
I was watching the Juve game, so I didn't see the Chelsea game.
Yeah, shame on you. Why are you not watching the Premier League? So we do a Premier League podcast.
Because I knew you were watching that game.
Oh, okay, that's fair. That makes it fair.
Why would we all watch the same game? It's just stupid. Like, okay, here's the plan. So tomorrow there's 3 Premier League games. Which Premier League game are you watching tomorrow, Brad?
I am watching at work, so I watch all 3 on Twitter.
Okay, Sean, which game are you watching?
I'm not watching Spurs. So
He says he got Liverpool Leeds. He's a Leeds fan. Don't forget. Wait. You are watching the Burnley Spurs game because isn't Burnley your team? The Turf Moor Titans?
Oh, man. Turf Moor Sean against White Hart Sean.
I've got two conflictions. One, I don't want to watch my 2 teams beat up on each other. And number 2, I don't want to watch Spurs lose this game. This has got 2-1 with the 89th minute winner from Burnley all over it.
I'm for that story. I'm for that story.
Me too.
That's got it all written all over it. It's written in the stars.
Oh, jeez. Please never.
It's written.
I hate you both.
You can't steal my gimmick. What are you doing? This is gimmick infringement.
Hold on, time out. Is that really your gimmick or is it a Twitter thing that you've stolen? It's 100% a Twitter thing you've stolen.
I think no, it's a gimmick infringement that I took from Tamsy because Tamsy was the first to say it's written in the stars from the original. Original 4-pack.
He's stolen it from Twitter too.
Probably.
So you guys are all wrong. Of the 4 games that you could watch tomorrow involving Premier League teams, whether that's Burnley, Spurs, Watford, Palace, Liverpool, Leeds, or Atletico Madrid United. None of those games are the ones to watch. I'm watching Benfica play Ajax in the Champions League. But yeah, so that rounds out our review of what happened. If we look forward, of course, to matches that are going to be played coming up. In the Premier League tomorrow on Wednesday, of course, like we've been alluded to, we've got Burnley hosting Spurs, Watford hosting Palace, Liverpool hosting Leeds. On Thursday, we've got Arsenal hosting Wolves. And then on the weekend, we got match day 27 coming up. We've got Southampton hosting Norwich on Friday. We've got Leeds hosting Spurs on Saturday. So that's a quick turnaround for Spurs. Brentford hosting Newcastle. Brighton hosting Villa. Palace hosting Burnley. Manchester United hosting Watford. And then on Sunday, we've got Everton and City, West Ham United and Wolves. And then there's something being written here. The Carabao Cup final is on
Sunday.
this weekend, Sunday. It's on ESPN. What is this? Yeah, who cares? It's another fake cup. Oh, Pool versus Chelsea. Yeah, so that's the Carabao Cup. League Cup final is this weekend.
And to correct you from earlier, it is actually for a European spot. The winner of the League Cup gets a spot in the Europa Conference Cup. It used to be for the Europa League.
That's even more argument to not want to win the Carabao Cup.
Up until 2019, 2020, it was for the Europa League, though.
Bro, what did
you imagine my dismay if we won the League Cup?
It finished 8th. And you finished 8th? Oh my gosh, I would be so here for that. How hard would you be? Like, hey, look, we're done the Conference Cup. We don't have Europe next year.
We want a fake cup. We want a fake cup with an invite to a fake cup.
Bro, what a state. What a state. I mean,
Oh
that's
my
to be fair, that's actually the perfect reward for winning the League Cup.
Yes.
As punishment for taking the League Cup seriously, you have to go to the Conference League. Oh, that's hilarious.
I want it to supersede Champions League.
It doesn't.
I want Liverpool or City, who always take it seriously. I want them to go straight to the Conference League.
To be fair, the only club that takes the League Cup seriously is Manchester City. Except for this year. Apparently all the teams took it very seriously this year for some reason. It literally should be the academy players. I never want to see Arsenal's first team in the League Cup, but for some reason it happens every year. Yeah, any of those games stand out for you guys coming up this week in the league?
Oh, in the league, let's see. Brentford Newcastle will be fun.
Yeah, it should be a good one. I do have to figure out what is my pick of the week.
And West Ham Wolves. West Ham Wolves is probably the best game on the weekend. With the most implications.
I don't know. Mine, it's probably a Palace Burnley. Burnley coming off a quick turnaround. They're trying to dig their way out of relegation. Palace trying to turn around. So away game. Are they away at us?
Who Leeds? Leeds.
Burnley host us.
Okay.
And then turn around and go to London for Palace. So that's a quick turnaround for them.
Yeah, I think if I had to do a pick of the week, which is what I do around here, I think, this is tight between Southampton, Norwich, Brentford, Newcastle, and Brighton, Villa. So the Brighton Villa game is probably like levels in terms of like quality, but there's no relegation implications in that game, much to my dismay. But I think I'm taking Brentford, Newcastle. I think that game becomes closer because Newcastle doesn't have Kieran Trippier in that game. So I think that James's pick of the week, I'm going to be watching Newcastle with Joel. I'm writing it down.
Ooh.
Joel, well, I won't watch the game because it's on 10 p.m. It's at 10 a.m. on Saturday, and that's when soccer happens. So maybe I'll catch the replay. I will catch the replay. That's my commitment to you, Red Card Radio people. But yeah, so the League Cup is gonna have Liverpool and Chelsea in it. Brad, how do you feel about the League Cup? Are you guys picking up a cup this weekend?
Chelsea's bringing home another cup.
Oh, it's written in the stars?
Written in the stars.
What is this going to be?
Chelsea's to win.
It's going to be that.
I don't think Klopp cares. I think Tuchel cares more about it than Klopp does. I don't see Klopp throwing everybody at this. I think both are going to start strong lineups. But without Jota or Firmino in the middle, I think this makes a much stronger case for Chelsea to win.
Why won't Diego Jota or Firmino play in the middle? They're both injured. They're both injured.
Yeah. Okay. And they're playing tomorrow. They also have 1 day less rest.
All right. Yeah. So Liverpool play tomorrow against Leeds. So it'll be telling who they play in that match. And then who do they play after? So they have West Ham after. That's a big game. You guys have Burnley after. So I guess in theory, Liverpool have a more difficult game on the backside of the League Cup final. I don't know if that means anything. I don't know if that portends anything. But we'll see. I don't know. I think it'll be a good game, honestly. I think both teams are going to want to win it.
Sure, we got Luton Town in between.
Oh, in the FA Cup?
The FA Cup's midweek.
Is it really? I don't know. I only pay attention to cups that.
But FA Cup should be the Arsenal are in. So why are we still talking about the Premier League?
Probably because Arsenal are competing in the Premier League.
Oh, just out for the title. Okay.
Neither are Chelsea. So why are we talking? What does your opinion matter?
I mean, I talk about all the cups. If Chelsea's not in it, I'm still going to talk about it. You just said you don't care or want to talk about what Arsenal can't win.
That was clearly a joke, Brad.
Just making sure.
All right. So yeah, that's what we got coming up in the. So you're picking Chelsea. I think I'm picking Liverpool to win this game. Sean, who are you taking in the League Cup final?
Hi. I hope both teams have fun.
You're such.
Hey, if it's a shootout, we bring in Kepa with our last sub.
Why would you? Kepa's gonna play the game. What are you talking about? Kepa's gonna start.
Both teams get trophies, right? There's a participation trophy in this fucking cup.
Probably. Yeah, it's the Mickey Mouse. It's the Mickey Mouse Cup. So, yeah. But yeah, Kepa's gonna start. Brad, what are you talking about?
I don't. I think Tuchel takes it seriously. I think Mendy starts.
I know. I think this is Kepa's comp, man. He gets to play in the League Cup. Yeah, I don't know. I think Liverpool's gonna win the game. Brad's gonna take Chelsea, and Sean's just hoping they have a good time.
Yeah.
Then other than that, the only other games that we've got coming up, Champions League next week or Champions League tomorrow, we've got Atletico Madrid hosting Manchester United, Benfica are hosting Ajax, and then next week we've got the return legs. Madrid are hosting PSG, and then City are hosting Sporting. Of course, PSG have a 1-goal lead in their tie. City have basically finished their tie. They're up 5-0 on Sporting. So that's a non-issue for City. Yeah, that's what we got coming up. I think it's a good slate of football. There's lots of good games, interesting cup finals. My pick of the week is going to be a barn burner. It's going to be a great match. We'll have to watch that. Yeah, you guys got anything else? You got any dad jokes, Brad, or any kind of weird trivia? It's weird. You used to always have weird trivia for us.
Wait, I have a trivia question.
Oh, do you? Okay. I'm glad that I sparked your memory of this.
You did. So
look at me go,
guys. So we have 4 clubs that have done the double over Pep.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you 3 of them because we all know one of them is Chelsea.
Well, if Brad's bringing it up, it's always Chelsea.
It is. And Conte was actually the manager then too. So the second team being Tottenham.
Okay, because Tottenham.
The third team, of course, Tottenham did it this year. The third team is Manchester United.
That leaves one.
That leaves one team. Who do you guys got? What's your guys' guess?
Well, since we talked about this question in the pre-production meeting, I'm not going to say. But Red Card Radio listeners, I want you to put it in the comments. Who do you think is the other team to have done the league double over Pep since he's come to City? And don't cheat. We'll know. We will know if you cheat. A Boy Scout honor. Okay, on your honor, you have to do it Just take a guess. Shot in the dark.
Hey guys,
Sean actually got it right in the pre-production meeting. Sean knew it. I did not. I was a homer. So I'll give you guys a spoiler. It's not Arsenal. It's not Arsenal. That's the one hint you get. Okay. But
I said top 6 clubs, so I thought that included Arsenal. But if it doesn't, that's cool.
I've got a President's Day trivia.
Oh,
since it was President's Day.
Let's do it. Let's talk about it.
So our 10th president, John Tyler, was born in 1870.
Yep.
He still has a living grandson.
It's true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. He also is the president with the most kids. He had 15.
That's impressive.
He had 15 children.
The man was
boinking late in life.
True. And you said what year did you say he was born? Because I think
I had him at 1870, right?
Nah. He was born in 1790.
1790. I said 1870.
Yeah.
It was clearly not wrong.
Yeah,
no, 1700s is what I meant.
Yeah, I assumed you meant 17. Well, you said 1870. I assumed it was 1770 because 1870 was just wrong. That wasn't. I knew that wasn't right.
I saw you start typing right away.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he was born in 1790. He's got a living grandchild who's very old.
Living grandchild.
Very old.
Which is ridiculous.
It's absurdly ridiculous. Yeah, okay. That's all we got.
Listeners in the UK, let me know if you have any, I don't know, members of parliament that were born in the 1700s that have grandsons.
Hey,
I think it's just the
next
Queen.
week. Little spoiler for next week. We got an anniversary to celebrate next week. That's all you guys are getting. That's all I'm giving out. Anniversary to celebrate next week.
I don't think I want to know what this anniversary is. Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna leave it.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
I don't know what he's talking about. Okay. Maybe it's like the start of year 13 that Spurs haven't won a trophy. Is that what it is? I
don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I guess
I don't know what it is.
I'm gonna have to tune in next week to find out, won't I?
You're going to.
Until that time,
I'll try to be here.
If you guys haven't already, if you could please hit that like, subscribe, follow button, do all those things. We wouldn't want you to be mildly inconvenienced to always have to wait for your shows. We want it to be bingeable for you. Unless, of course, you like to wait in any, whatever. So hit us up, leave us a 5-star review, leave us a comment, whatever. We will love to talk about those next week. You can hit us up on Twitter. Send us all the abuse you'd like to. That man over there in the blue, he is at KSBradG. Down below, that's at Whiteheart_Sean. I am at James Tiffany. That's, again, all on Twitter. And we collectively are at RedCard_Radio on Twitter. Now, if you see tweets from the Red Card Radio handle, they are always from Brad because he's trolling. Brad is always trolling on the corporate Twitter account. Okay.
It's Turfmore Sean's account. I don't know what you're talking about. It's Turfmore Sean tweeting.
You need to start tagging yourself when you're tweeting from that account, Brad. But that's all we got for you guys. Hit us up. We would love to hear from you. And until next week and Brad's super, super secret special anniversary thing, tune in next week. Tune in next week.
We're going to have a party.
Are we? We're popping bottles or something?
We might pop some bottles for this.
Yo, let's do it. All right. We will see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Good night.